Clijsters has put everyone on notice and made a bold statement about Alex Eala. She came out and flat out declared that Alex Eala has the best technique in the entire WTA, and she can make her opponents feel deeply uncomfortable with her approach and the way she moves and constructs points on the court. Clijsters did not just leave it at that general statement. She went further and declared that Eala is a natural left-hander, and that fact alone makes it extraordinarily difficult for opponents to guess her ball movement because the court opens up differently when she plays. The angles shift and she uses her backhand more in an offensive approach than almost anyone else on the tour, making it her single strongest weapon against every opponent she faces. Clijsters broke down the whole mechanism of how Eala plays and moves on the court with the kind of detail that only someone who has competed at the very highest level of this sport can truly provide. She declared that Eala with her backhand makes that baseline shot long enough to push the opponent back behind the baseline. From that position, the opponent tries to use their own backhand to respond, and that opens the whole court for Eala to make the next shot into the space and have the opponent scrambling for the ball. Clijsters declared that this technique of forcing the opponent to run and chase the ball eventually gets the better of every single opponent. Right now, there is simply no one on the tour who has found a way to get the better of her technique and neutralize what she does. Clijsters did not just stop there. She went all in and declared that Eala has the stamina and the footwork to control the flow of the game from start to finish. Eala has shown this in the most demanding matchups imaginable, including her performance against Iga Swiatek at the Miami Open. Clijsters declared that not only is her physique and her youth helping her make those runs on the court, but she has also grown mentally enough to handle matchups against opponents of the caliber of Iga and Sabalenka, players who test every dimension of what a competitor has to offer. Clijsters did not stop there either. She went a step further and acknowledged the discipline and the effort that Eala has poured into her development through all her years at the Rafael Nadal Academy. She declared that with that kind of demanding environment shaping her, Eala has been working hard throughout her entire career, and that relentless commitment is the deep reason behind her success in the WTA over the years. But Clijsters also made something else very clear. Even though Eala is great and is having some of the best tennis of her career right now, she still needs to be protected by her team and the people surrounding her. Telling it all, Clijsters made one thing absolutely clear above everything else. The technique of immediate transition from a defensive back foot position to an offensive foothold is what makes Eala so difficult to predict and even more difficult to answer from the other side of the net. With her best technique even at this remarkably young age, she has firmly affirmed her presence on the court, and that presence is not going anywhere anytime soon. Now, here is where the story gets even bigger and even more compelling because it is not only a women's tennis legend speaking up for Alex Eala. The greatest men's player of all time has also gone all in. Novak Djokovic stepped forward and declared Alex Eala the greatest tennis player the Philippines has ever produced. He said she deserves every single bit of respect and recognition this sport can possibly offer her. He did not only speak about her influence on the court, he specifically addressed the way her scheduling and court assignments have been managed at various tournaments, making it explicitly clear that he believes the situation around her has not always been handled in a way that genuinely reflects her status and her drawing power as a global attraction. When Djokovic says something like that, the entire tennis world takes notice and is forced to respond. Now, here is where the story gets even more compelling still because it is not only the legends and the analysts driving this conversation forward. The players themselves are jumping in. Jessica Pegula, one of the top competitors on the WTA Tour and someone with years of experience at the highest level of the game, came forward with her own account of what she experienced when she faced Eala at the Miami Open. What she described was nothing short of remarkable. The energy inside that venue was electric. The crowd was enormous, passionate, impossibly loud, and completely locked in on every single point. Pegula said it was insane, and she meant every word of that in the best possible way. She was not there to complain about it. She was marveling at it. She was standing inside that atmosphere and recognizing in real time that she was witnessing something genuinely special and genuinely rare. Pegula was very specific in what she went on to say. She pointed out that whether it was Miami, the Australian Open, or Dubai, Eala has consistently drawn the biggest crowd support of any player on the entire tour. People show up for her in numbers that no other player is generating right now. People travel for her. People wait in lines that stretch far beyond what any normal match would produce just for the chance to be inside the stadium and watch her play. That kind of magnetism is extraordinarily rare. And here is Alex Eala already delivering it at this stage of her career without any manufactured campaign behind it, purely through the force of her talent, her personality, and the undeniable power of her game. Clijsters called the technique the best in the WTA, and she was not speaking in abstractions. She was pointing to something real, something visible, something that anyone who has watched Eala compete over the past year has witnessed with their own eyes. We have seen exactly what Clijsters is alluding to. Whether it was last year's Miami Open where Eala stepped onto the court against some of the biggest names in the game and performed with a maturity and a technical precision that left the entire tour talking, or whether it is what we have been watching this year at Dubai and the Abu Dhabi Open where she has continued to build on everything and shown that her level is not a flash of form but a sustained reality. Clijsters is pointing at a body of evidence that is growing match by match and tournament by tournament. She is not guessing, she is not projecting, she is declaring what she sees, and what she sees is a player whose technique is the finest on the tour right now. Djokovic called her the greatest the Philippines has ever produced and demanded she be given the stage her drawing power truly deserves. Pegula described the atmosphere around her as something that left a seasoned professional completely astonished. The crowds keep coming, the legends keep talking, and Alex Eala keeps stepping onto the court and playing tennis that makes every single word of it feel not just justified, but completely and perfectly inevitable. But now, we want to hear from you. Clijsters has declared Eala has the best technique in the WTA. Djokovic has called her the greatest the Philippines has ever produced, and Pegula said the atmosphere around her was unlike anything she had experienced before. So, do you agree? Is Eala's backhand the most dangerous weapon in the women's game right now, and how far do you think this goes? Drop everything you think in the comments below. We want to know exactly where you stand.